you woke up one morning and your infant is vomiting, stooling, and showing signs of weakness to the extent that she's not even sweating or bringing out tears when he or she cries, what do you think is going on? Hi everyone, my name is Sandra, and today we'll be continuing our makeup class. This is a 400 level makeup class on virology. So even if you're not in FUNA, you're welcome to join the class. Today we'll be talking about a particular virus. I'm sure you can see on the board already, Rotavirus. And this virus is very symptomatic. What do I mean by this? I mean that it shows itself by the onset of diarrhea and vomiting, which affects young people, especially babies and children under the age of 5. Of course, I'm sure you've had a niece or a nephew that have shown signs of stooling and vomiting and weakness. One of the viruses you should be suspecting is rotavirus. This virus has been implicated in causing deaths, especially for young people, to the extent that World Health Organization has made this vaccine, the rotavirus vaccine, they've made this vaccine free for young people, children under the age of 5. So if you have a child, right from the moment you give birth to a baby in the hospital, you're being advised as a mom to come back with your baby for your rotavirus vaccine, because they know, studies have shown that children under the age of 5 are most susceptible to this virus. And on today's class, we'll be talking about why are they susceptible, what are the risk factors, what are the symptoms we can suspect. As I've already told you that majorly vomiting and diarrhea is one of the symptoms we cannot just eliminate from the onset of this virus. And we are also going to be talking about how to prevent it and every other thing. And apart from that, we'll be talking about other viruses, and in particular we'll be talking about the pathogenesis of this virus. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the predisposing factors, or we could also call it the risk factors, because I know some of my students have been asking what's the difference, the predisposing factors or risk factors, and I can actually say that both are the same. So one of the major predisposing factors is that rotavirus can be found in the stool of an infant or anyone that is being infected with this virus 2 days even before the symptoms begin to show, and 10 days after the symptoms have lessened. So now imagine yourself a young mom that just changed your baby's diapers, and your baby has not shown any sign of weakness yet, but you finished changing your baby's diaper and you were unable to wash your hands after changing diapers, or if you use your toilet and you don't wash your hands and you have rotavirus and your stool is contaminated with rotavirus, you will definitely get someone else around you infected with rotavirus, because rotavirus can be getting through the fecal oral route, like contaminating yourself with something that is contaminated with the virus and putting it to your mouth. If you touch your baby's toys after you've changed the diapers, or you're touching your spoon or your plates, you're beginning to spread this virus. Okay, so that is one of the predisposing factors, and a dirty environment is one thing that leads to the onset of this, like it leads to the spread of this virus as we go on. So this is a very significant information for young parents, and even old parents that have young people. It's important to keep the environment clean, and it's mandatory to wash your hand after each diaper change or after using the toilet. So this is talking about, I've done like a flow chart of all the symptoms. Of course, you know viruses cannot live outside a host. They are parasitic and they are dependent on a living host. Unlike bacteria and fungi that we can actually culture in a media in the lab without even the need of a living thing, viruses need a living thing to work. So it's quite difficult to understand the pathogenesis of viruses. So scientists have actually found out this by infecting mice with viruses, with rotavirus, and understanding, and from the, from the symptoms they showed, they were able to understand and detect the pathway which this virus shows itself in a human system and finally leads to diarrhea and vomiting. And that's what we'll be talking about right now. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Once a child is being infected with rotavirus, the first thing that would happen is the activation of a protein that is called the NSP4 protein. What is NSP? Non-structural protein 4. The activation of this NSP4 protein leads to the permeability of calcium in the cell membrane and ER. Remember what I said? It causes the cells that in the body of this child to become permeable and porous, leading to the exit of calcium, which is probably meant to be held within these cells, Remember, this child is beginning to lose fluid. So water is passing out, but this water is containing calcium. It leads to the permeability of calcium, and also in the cell membrane, not only in the cell membrane, but also in the ER. And what is the ER? Of course, we know that ER is in the endo endoplastic reticulum. Yes, the ER is the endoplastic reticulum. So calcium in that is present in fluid is not only leaving the cell membrane, but also leaving the ER. That means the cell membrane of almost every cell that this child has. So after that, this can also lead to the activation of, after this happens, the next thing that will happen is the activation of the intracellular calcium concentration. Now, the calcium is being permeated out of different cells. This will definitely increase its concentration in, that's, for example, where have you heard the word intracellular? Of course, I always try to put myself in whatever I'm studying. I've told my students that if you hear a word that you feel like you don't understand, ask yourself, where have I heard this word before? Of course, I can remember that way back in secondary school, we used to have inter-school competition, and that means that other students are coming to our school to compete with us in our house competition, in our sports competition. So now that you're hearing intra, this means within the cell, not outside. Like, there is nothing being inverted inside the cell. The concentration of calcium also increases within the cells, even though it leads to the permeability of calcium. Calcium is coming out from the ER and the cell membrane, increasing the concentration of calcium in other surrounding cells that are present in the system of this young child. So after this happens, this can also lead to the activation of the ENS. What is an ENS? The enteric nervous system. And when you hear the word enteric, what do you ask yourself? Where have I heard this word before? Enteric. Of course, you've heard about E. coli being an enteric organism. These organisms are associated with being in the stool sample, anything that is coming out from your stomach. The enteric system is like your small intestine and your large intestine. So now, this concentration of calcium leads to the activation of the ENS. Like, it begins to disrupt the normal system of the baby's stomach. Whatever that used to be the norm, it disrupts it. That is what it means by the activation of the ENS. Then, okay, I would just want to explain one side, then we get to the other side, okay? So after the ENS is being activated, the next thing that will be happening is intestinal motility. Ask yourself, where have I heard the word mortal? When you say someone is mortal, okay, though it's a microbial jargon that a common layman would not use, motility is the ability to move. When you're trying to describe the characteristics of an organism, you mention, like, when you're viewing it under the microscope, that this organism is mortal, it moves. So it's trying to tell you here now that the intestine, it would lead to the activation of intestinal motility, that this baby's large and small intestine will begin to disrupt. Like, it will cause movement, which will probably make the child uncomfortable, okay? Just like when you're feeling some sort of way and you feel like your system, something is happening, you're about to have like a nervous breakdown, but not like in that time. I mean, your intestines, like something is wrong with your stomach. You feel pain in your intestine and you're like, my tummy is rumbling. That's probably what's happening. Your intestine are becoming mortal, okay? They are moving uncontrollably when compared to their norm, when they used to just be normal, okay? That's what happens here. So now, after the intestinal motility, what is the next thing that will happen? It will also lead to the secretion of chloride ions. Just like it led to the secretion of calcium, it leads to the secretion of chloride ions into the cells too. Then all this will definitely lead, when it leads to the secretion of chloride ion, it results to vomiting. But if it leads to intestinal motility, it results to diarrhea. So the baby begins to lose fluid by vomiting, also begins to lose fluid by stooling. Of course, you know what diarrhea is: constant stooling with uncontrollable stooling, though it's always watching, not like your normal stool, okay? So that after that, this is just one part of it. You know what they say, everyone is different, we are all unique in our own way. So these symptoms might not be peculiar to a particular child. It will happen to different people in different ways, because we all have our own body system unique to us. So I just described one way it could happen, but it could also happen in this way. So let's explain this. It could also lead to the induction of apoptosis. What is that apoptosis? Of course, we know as microbiologists that apoptosis is cell death. This could lead to the activation of cell death in the child's system. That means surrounding cells that are found in this child's intestinal system, is beginning to die off. And this will lead to the loss of electrolytes when the baby is losing fluid. I'm sure when you've taken your child to the hospital one of these days and your baby is stooling or vomiting, doctor will be like, you need to give ORS to replenish the electrolyte that your child is losing. And what is ORS? It contains salt, sodium chloride. And remember now, it's telling you that this thing leads to the secretion of chloride ions outside the cells of the child. So your baby is definitely losing fluid, and that is why they always advise us to replenish this fluid to replenish these electrolytes with ORS, which contains sodium and chloride. Okay, that's salt. So after this step, this can also lead to impaired absorption. Where have you heard the word impaired before? I know I've heard the word impaired when I think I met someone and they told me that they are having impaired vision. Not that they cannot really see, but not that they are blind, but their vision is becoming impaired. Their vision is not as clear as it used to be. So when you hear the word impaired absorption, what is it telling you? Of course, you know our stomach, our intestine, our small and large intestine are made to pick up nutrients that the food that the baby takes contains. So at this point now, this loss of electrolytes will also lead to the loss of absorption potential for the child's intestine. Not that it loses it completely, but it becomes impaired. It decreases the frequency of this process. Okay, so after that, these two would lead impaired absorption will definitely lead to vomiting too. Okay, all this will lead to vomiting and diarrhea, which I mentioned earlier to you are the major symptoms that are being detected in rotavirus. Once you see that your child is stooling and vomiting, the first thing they will tell you when you get to the hospital and you're meeting the doctor, they will tell you to buy ORS. You need to replenish the electrolytes because your child is definitely losing chloride, and also calcium is being permeated into the cell. Okay, so this is the pathogenesis of rotavirus. This is how it works. Okay. Alright, so first symptom I already told you guys, off of your head should be diarrhea and vomiting. And I just said here, diarrhea for more than 24 hours, especially in children. Then also frequent vomiting, as I just said before. Then of course, you notice that the baby's stool is becoming black and it's either containing pus or it has blood in it. And you'd also notice that the baby is running a high temperature of above 38.9 degrees C or more than that. And this is a critical situation because the baby might go into convulsion because of the high temperature. The body might be having seizures at this point, so you really need to rush this baby to the hospital. Of course, we'll be talking about baby definitely going to be feeling tired and irritable. Imagine this child who has not experienced this before. He or she will definitely feel irritated. Another sign, a major sign, is dehydration. That is why the doctors definitely tell you your baby is losing electrolytes. Try to hydrate the baby with ORS for strength. And you definitely notice that your baby is beginning to have this dehydration when the baby is crying and you're not seeing tears, and your baby's lips are looking extremely dry. What else did I mention? Also, and the baby is now showing like losing very little amounts of urine. The baby cannot even lose enough urine water. Like when the baby is trying to urinate, he's losing little amount of water while urinating. These are specific pointers that this baby needs to get to the hospital and needs to be treated immediately. Okay, so the next thing we're talking about is how to prevent this disease, this viral infection. Of course, I've said this earlier, that vaccination is one of the major pointers that can help your baby get resistance against this vaccine or save your baby from this stress. Definitely, World Health Organization has recommended rotavirus, and it's actually free in Nigeria right now for every child once the child is like 2 months, you're recommended to take up this rotavirus vaccine. And we have two types. They have the Rotarix, Rotatec, and Rotarix. The Rotatec is an oral administration. It's given to the child through the mouth, and it's given at 2, 4, and 6 months to every child, and it's actually free. And we also have the Rotarix, which is administered in 2 doses, which is given at 2 and 4 months. So this is recommended to every young mom, every new mom, to make sure your child is being immunized with this rotavirus vaccine. And what is a vaccine? As a microbiologist, we definitely know that vaccines are attenuated version of a particular virus or bacteria, right? These vaccines are attenuated. What does it mean? They are weakened to a lesser dose or values, but they are being injected into a child to help your body build immunity against this virus or bacterial infection in the future, so that when your body finally now gets to meet this virus in its full dosage, the effect will not be so intense. That is why this immunization is important and recommended to every child below the age of 5 years, definitely at 2, 4, and 6 months. Do you see how critical the the age is for the vaccine? Because they know that even before you're getting to 2 months, you're probably being susceptible to it. And we are also advised to keep a clean environment, always wash your hands after stooling, wash your hands after changing your baby's diaper, and try every other thing you can to keep your child safe from rotavirus. Thank you so much for the class. If you have any questions, make sure to ask in the comment section. I'll always be here to listen to you. And do also subscribe to my channel. But let's talk about something else. We'll also be talking about the norovirus. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about some viruses. No. Okay, we'll also be talking about this norovirus. This norovirus is just like the rotavirus. The only distinguishing factor is that this norovirus is not specific to a particular age group like children in rotavirus. This norovirus could happen to anyone. It could happen to you, it could happen to me, it could also happen to a child. Most of the symptoms with rotavirus are the same, like stooling and vomiting. But the significant part about norovirus is that it affects adults too, okay? Adults are not as immune as they can be to rotavirus, to norovirus. And I also wanted to talk about another virus, and I'm sure you've also heard about the influenza virus. All these things are on our slide. The influenza virus is usually contacted, you know, when your baby's nose is running, your nephew or your niece, their nose is running, and in 2-3 days the mother gives vitamin C and the baby gets herself or himself. What do you think is the viral infection that happened here? It's probably influenza virus. This virus is usually caused due to the weather, cold, when your baby is being subjected to like not used to being cold, and the baby finally is being exposed to cold. Baby will get this influenza virus, but influenza virus is called the flu because it doesn't really need a treatment to go. It will definitely grow on its own. If the child's immunity is being enhanced, like when you give the child oranges or you're giving them vitamin C, this can easily help this influenza virus to get eradicated. It's a petty virus, not too serious, okay? So another virus I want to talk about is the PK virus. PK virus is a very unique virus that causes urinary tract infection. This is not like the ones we'll be talking about, like the enteric infections. No, this is a urinary tract infection, virus that causes urinary tract infection. But interestingly, this virus gets into a human being through a mosquito bite. So you'd ask yourself, I live in Nigeria, I live in Africa, what happened to me that I've not actually had PK virus? Of course, mosquitoes bite us every day. The answer is PK virus only affects people whose immunity have already reduced to an extent. Like, it affects people that are cancer patients, HIV, kidney transplant patients, these individuals already have a predisposing disease that have already brought down their immune system. So when they get bitten by a mosquito that is carrying this PK virus gets ingested in their system and is able to cause a urinary tract infection. Do you understand the reason now? So PK virus, definitely, mosquito that has PK virus has probably bitten I and bitten you. But the interesting reason, while we're not beginning to develop the symptoms of this virus, is that we probably do not have an underlying disease or infection that has reduced our immunity, and that's what's so unique about PK virus. And the symptoms of urinary tract infection are just the same for PK virus, okay? Yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for the class. Have any question, do well to ask me. Of course, I've given you guys the slides, sorry, but I just wanted to do a makeup class for those that probably could not attend. So thank you so much. Do also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.